Hello everyone, Kayla here, and this is What the Kink, a natural hair channel. Welcome back to another detangle and talk. If you are new to my channel, this is the type of video where I detangle my hair and I talk about a topic. So the detangle part is being brought to you by, this is a flexi brush. This one is from Curl Keeper, but there are several companies and brands that make pretty much the same brush, so I'm going to link a bunch of them so that you guys can just pick which one fits your budget or what color you like or whatever. So that'll be in the description box. And then for the conditioner, I am actually using more of that conditioner from my last video, which is the Giovanni Smoothest Silk Deeper Moisture Conditioner. As you can see, if you watched the last video, my hair is a whole lot less white than it was in that video. For the folks that didn't watch it, y'all, I used, let's see, that's an 8-ounce container. I think I probably used like 6 ounces of conditioner trying to follow the directions for that video. So this time around, I think there was maybe 2 ounces left, and I only used like half of that to condition my hair. So I typically use a whole lot less conditioner than I used for that particular video. And then I didn't get to brush my hair in that video, and so it's been a week, and I noticed that this little back section here was a little bit more difficult to run my fingers through than it would typically be. So I will probably have to work today to make sure that my hair is tangle free for the week. But you know, bringing up the video, I do that on purpose because for the talk part of today's video, I kind of want to talk about how the natural hair community and basically what it means to have natural hair in general has changed. At the end of that video, you know, I was just talking about the fact that the book, Curly Girl, the Handbook, was written a long time ago in terms of the world. I mean, and on the internet, I mean, 1 year is a long time ago, right? But that book was written quite a while ago. And the natural hair community and the curly hair community was just completely, there was a different landscape. That book was written to a different audience. That book was written for people who had different resources available to them. And so at the end of the video, I just kind of touched on the fact that the natural hair community has changed. And then, you know, I've noticed that there are videos that are talking about the changes in the natural hair community, but most of the videos tend to be focusing kind of on the change of the natural hair community as a negative thing, as something that's not so great. Especially the ones where they kind of poll the community. Because I've seen several of those where, you know, the creator has like created a poll on their Instagram and then they're kind of just sharing what people have said on there or people who have said on their community tab and stuff like that. And a lot of it is people expressing negativity, people feeling like they're being judged in the natural hair community. But for me, I feel like the natural hair community, the change is a good thing. I feel like the natural hair community has just simply evolved. And I think evolution is something that is inevitable because the natural hair community, the curly hair community, they're just made of people. And what do? People change. And honestly, if someone didn't change, I would be a little freaked out and I would be a little alarmed. Because even like YouTubers, right? People are like, well, I stopped watching her because she changed. And I'm like, so you expect her to not change? Like, that's just weird. That's just creepy. Like, think about it. All the stories that people like, you know, like in books and movies and whatever. The main character experiences change. They change. And at the end of most books or most movies or most shows, the person can never go back to who they were before or how they lived before because they evolved and they changed. And people can't get enough of that. That's why people keep coming back to watch the show. That's why people keep watching a movie. If you were watching something where the person didn't change, you would think it was boring. Or then you would have all these critical articles online talking about how the characters in this production were flat, you know? And so the natural hair community is made of people. And so it naturally has evolved and changed in ways that I think are actually quite positive. And I think that some of the people are stuck on the old ways in the natural hair community, and that's why they're frustrated with the change. That's why they're irritated with the change, right? So One way that's kind of a natural flow from my previous video is that the natural hair community has changed as far as products. That right there is the biggest change. First of all, back in the day, and by back in the day for me, I mean like 2010, 2011. That's what I'm talking about. So about 12 years ago is where back in the day is for me. Back in the day, the products that were for natural hair, you mainly just had Shea Moisture, Nubian Heritage, which is owned by Shea Moisture. They're the same company. A couple of the brands that we know now were in the stores, like Mixed Chicks. Let's see, Jane Carter was up in the store. I don't know. I can't think of all of them, but you guys know the classics, the OGs that have been sitting on the shelves in the natural hair community since in the natural hair section of the store for a long time. And I feel like with Mixed Chicks, I'm just going to say this on the side, I feel like for them, they needed the natural hair community and awareness and people using conditioners like that and people knowing more about it and kind of getting beyond their name of being called Mixed Chicks to get their business like up and running as far as like people being into them. I feel like wasn't nobody back in the day talking about them, but they were on the shelves. They've been there the whole time. I'm giving them credit and props for being there at the beginning, but nobody was like pressed for them. They didn't have as big of a fan club as they have now. You know what I mean? But I do applaud them for staying true to who they are. Sometimes it's just not everybody is your customer, and sometimes you have to educate the customer before they become your customer. So I just feel like the natural hair community didn't have anywhere to go as far as products, and so that spawned the whole online community of people sharing what they were using on their hair, because people would go natural and they didn't know what to use. That's when you had people sharing all these recipes on forums and all this kind of stuff of how to basically be a mixtress to stir and whip up some natural products to use at home, because people did not know what they could use on their hair. The natural hair product scene had not been established in the way that it is now. So I think that is one major change. Also, yes, I will say that the change in products has also changed the content that we see on YouTube videos. A lot of the early YouTube content was mainly focused on people sharing their techniques and their practices and how they were managing their hair and how they were doing these hairstyles, because we didn't really know how to do these hairstyles really. So that's what the early YouTube content was. But then with the products being on the scene, a lot of YouTube content shifted towards people showcasing products really. And that's because there's just so many more available. One thing I will say about product content is hard to get views on, y'all. I don't think the people on the other side of the camera really know this and realize this, because I remember one time I was feeling kind of down about my channel. This was years ago, and someone commented like, you need to get the newest products on here, and that's going to help your channel. And I was like, man, they really don't know, because with products, the product has to be like a trendy product. It has to be like now and hot, and people have to be into it. And then what happens is it gets tons of views, and then after like a month or so, no one watches it and the video completely dies. So from a standpoint, you did all this work, you may have earned a little bit of money, you may have gotten new subscribers, but those subscribers don't turn into people that regularly watch your videos, and then that video does not continue to earn you money. The other hand of product reviews is if you can catch something that's just rare enough, like there's not really a lot of naturals making videos on it, but the product is like a classic that people actually want to see. Every now you can catch those, and those won't get views when you put it up initially, but slowly over time they will continue to get views and they will continue to make money in the background. For me, that's that Paul Mitchell video. The conditioner, not the newest one where I'm showing the difference between the dupe and the original. I'm talking about just a review of the original. It's an older video on my channel, and that continues to get views and every now and then comments and everything, because people are still watching it, because there's not a lot of like people who look like me or people who have hair like me making videos about that. So it still gets views because of that. But let's see, like the Curls Green collection, I think is what that was called. that got tons of views when I put it up. Like, people were clicking and watching and whatever. Now that video's dead. Nobody's watching that. Nobody's watching that. So, like, getting views with products is actually a very tricky thing. And plus, it just accumulates lots of clutter. It really does. But, that's kind of what the natural hair YouTube content switched to, was products, because now we had so many products. And so we wanted to suss them out, because now it's like, okay, well, I can't possibly stand here in this aisle for 20 years and there's no way I can test this on my head. Like, I only have one head and there's tons of products. So then they created the need for the YouTuber to start reviewing products and displaying products for us to try. Another change that I'm noticing in the community is a decrease in the struggle mentality. I feel like nowadays less people are struggling with their hair and more people are having fun with their hair. I have like unlocked this world on Instagram of people who kind of do their hair similar to how I do and have similar regimens, and all the people just seem happy. Like, they just doing their regimen and living their life and not spending tons of time and effort on their hair. I feel like before, the natural hair community back in the day was just struggle after struggle after struggle after struggle. It was like the struggle parade. We wanted, like, oh, I'm struggling to grow my hair. Oh, my hair is dry. Oh, my hair is difficult to detangle. Oh, blah, blah, blah. Natural hair is a full-time job. Like, there was this struggle narrative that was repeated so much in the past. And now I hear a lot less people struggling with their hair, and there's a lot more people having fun with their hair. They're doing hair color, they're doing creative hairstyles, or they're just simply washing and going and not really spending much time on their hair. It's definitely the age of do less, get more life. And I absolutely love that change for the natural hair community. Is much more positive. Another change that I've noticed in the natural hair community is the reintroduction of the professional. I believe that the professionals were definitely at the forefront of the relaxed movement, because relaxers are a chemical. I can tell y'all, I have never done my own relaxer, ever. And I have no interest. Even if I was going to go back to be relaxed, I would not do my own relaxer. It's a chemical process, and I know I would mess it up. So I'm good, love. I will never do my own relaxer. And so hairstylists kind of faded into the background when we started doing our hair natural, because we really didn't have a lot of places that could do the natural hair, or they were very few. Like in a large city, there may be only a few people that might do some, they might throw some braids, you know. It really wasn't that whole like dedicated natural hair. Like, when I think of like Narada Salon, right, where he's doing the twists and the intricate updos and all that kind of stuff. The styles, the places near me that were doing natural hair, they was mainly just doing braids. They weren't doing all that he doing. You know what I mean? They mainly just doing braids, and they may or may not even wash your hair, like, you know. But now, when you hear the term natural hair salon, they're doing a whole lot more than that, right? So there's this availability of being able to go back to being a salon girl. Because I know I was a salon girl. I didn't do my own hair, you know. So if you wanted to, and I believe I remember Abena Palmore, who's a hairstylist, talk about how she has clients. She has a client that actually comes to her like weekly, like that she does this client's hair. The client wears a wash and go and stuff, which is something that could easily be done at home, but Abena does it. She does this client doesn't do her own hair, and that might fit her lifestyle. That I definitely didn't do my own hair when I was relaxed. So now we have the option to go back to the salon if we want to. And then, of course, we do have the option to continue to DIY. And the DIY, do-it-yourself hair is a little easier and better, because now there's a lot more products available. And then, of course, more information about techniques and things than it was in the past. We're not struggling to figure it out. Now, I would be lying if I didn't acknowledge the fact that the re-entry of the professional was a little rough. The re-entry of the hair care professional was indeed rough. I think more people are accepting of what they have to say. More people are cool with their presence. But it was definitely a you over here and you over there type situation when the professional re-entered the scene. I feel like it's a lot more chill. However, there are still people, if you look on Twitter, y'all, they still be going in on these hairstyles. and attacking them. And the hairstylists will say something as simple as, hey, you don't need this particular product, or you don't need this particular step, or whatever. And they're not going against it. They're just saying, you know, hey, you don't actually have to do this thing. And then everybody's like, oh my God, how dare you speak out against ABC natural hair product or ABC natural hair technique and blah, blah, blah. These professionals just be making stuff up. But I'm like, dang, wow. Reading comprehension. If you go back, she didn't say that that thing was harmful or bad or that you shouldn't do it. She just said it's not necessary. Dang. Y'all tripping. You know? And I think maybe some people are still hyped up because of the kind of rough re-entry of the hair care specialist into our community. I feel like now that we are moving towards a new world order where the hair professional is here, but we're not really bothered by them. I know I'm not. Like, and I do regularly partner with a professional to cut my own hair. Like, that's something that I don't want to do, and I don't have to do it because I can pay somebody to do it. And that's where we are in the natural hair community now. Like, if you don't want to do your own hair, girl, you can just pay somebody. Or you don't want to cut your hair, or maybe you're a natural that likes color and you don't want to do it yourself, you just pay somebody. Like, we couldn't do that before. That's major. That's a big deal. Let me smooth this. Ooh, Lord. It's not a lot of shed hair, but baby, there are tangles to be had. There are definitely tangles up in this hair. It's not taking me super long, but I'm definitely having to unmarry, having to divorce the hairs for sure. But it's not a lot of shed hair coming out. I just, you know, and I kind of hinted at this throughout this entire video, but this is where I see the natural hair community going as a whole, and that one word is normalization. Normalization. It is now more normal to wear your hair natural. You can get products for it. You can get services for it. We generally know how to take care of it. People don't spend too much time on their natural hair anymore if they don't want to. Natural hair is normal now, just like straight hair was normal before. And we had everything we needed to have straight hair, and no one really too much said anything when you had straight hair. That's where natural hair is going. And this is I think what a lot of people are noticing and feeling in the natural hair. But when something is normalized, it's boring. It's not as exciting. We're not going to get excited about some new natural hair thing because we've been wearing our natural hair. We're kind of at peace with our natural hair. I am no longer looking for the newest tip or the newest hack or how to make my natural hair do XYZ 1, 2, 3 because either the myths that I believed have been debunked or I've mastered whatever it is. That's boring. It's not exciting. I fully know how to, maybe I don't know how to detangle my hair. I lost the clip. But I fully know how to shampoo my hair, condition it, detangle it pretty quick and pretty efficiently, style it real efficiently, and get, relatively consistent results, which I do want to talk about consistency in a video in the future, or how to get more consistent results. But now we're in the maintenance phase. Things are less exciting when you're in the maintenance phase. And I think what's going to happen for people who want to continue to make YouTube content is you're going to have to make maintenance type content. Like, you're going to have to make content that is shifting and growing and evolving with the natural hair community. So I think people who are experiencing the most discomfort with the changes in the natural hair community are people that are still trying to stay back in 2010. If you still want to be in 2010, you are going to be frustrated with the things that are going over here in 2022 when everyone thinks natural hair is natural. I mean, not natural, but everyone thinks natural hair is normal. Normal is boring. But people are still joining the natural hair community every day. People are new, because I get people who come to my channel and they're like, even me doing this, they're like, at what step in your regimen are you doing this? Whereas a lot of people immediately know, okay, she probably shampooed her hair before this or whatever. So there's new people every day. And that's exciting, but the new people are joining something that's already well established, unlike before where we were kind of putting the burden on our backs together and we were all lifting from the knees to get this thing off the ground. Congratulations, we got it off of the ground. it did what it needed to do. We're here now.